What does it feel like to walk around with the idea that if you are not moving forward continually, that you are lazy? What is it like to live inside of that notion?
The first words that came out of my mouth as soon as he said that, I was like, that's not what we do.
Ah, what does that mean?
So culturally, that's not what we do. Meaning that we're not going to be perceived as lazy,
Yes.
whether that's because of the Caribbean background or the immigrant experience,
Yep.
uh, and coupled with
Almost like actually, if that is a common misconception or preconception, generationally
yeah,
you've worked so hard, and therefore you need to continue the sacrifice and the reputation of being the people that work hard and make things work and make things happen.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm hmm
Where else in your early life did you learn that stopping is lazy?
I think it probably has been said sometimes at dinners, especially from the generation before me. Oh, Americans are lazy, and I'm just like, I'm American, and I'm not lazy. But at the same time, I identify as Carib, like Carib.
It sounds like there was two influences coming in, both of which were a cultural identity. There was an Americans are lazy, and there was a that's not what we do generational Caribbean influence as well. Two things that you had to disprove around your cultural identity.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's huge. This is really potent. Given that culturally, historically, generationally, and subconsciously, the idea of stopping or pausing is connected to the idea of being lazy, and you have a really strong connection, cultural connection, and identity connection to where you come from, more so than most. And in your body, the first word that came up was the idea of lazy. So we've got these two things of I cannot be perceived as lazy, and if I pause, that's some kind of lazy. What's the likelihood that you are going to allow yourself to pause?
I'm not.
Like shit to fuck all, basically, right? There's just so much stacked against it that there's an inherent tension. There's an inherent tension in the idea of pausing that we get to recognize. The good news is we get to meet that right now and catalyze the flip of is that true? Why is it not true? And what's the truth? If there's these two opposing forces of pausing is lazy and it's not in my value system to be lazy, there's no way in hell that you're going to pause. What is the experience of living in that tension of wanting and craving a pause, but for some reason, you don't, for the reasons we know now, you don't give it to yourself. To me, that's exhausting.
Of course, physically exhausting,
Yeah.
um, emotionally, mentally, just this the struggle that goes back and forth.
Overwhelming,
Swirly,
confusing,
swirly is the word
feels
that's
swirly, yeah.
coming.
Swirly meaning,
Like like figuring out what's the next or what's the priority in the moment.
yeah, okay,
Um,
yeah.
or mistakes happen. I'm going to a specific moment that happened recently. I didn't know then at that point like what was going on with my body then, but I went to the dermatologist and she was like, "Oh, if you're starting to feel like fever and chills, you should go to the ER." So what I did, I went right back to work and, and I started to do work and I'm there like working and I'm like, and I remember I'm staring like, I know my body is telling me one thing, but I'm like, no, I need to push it. And then literally I'm making errors. And I was like, I don't make these errors. And I'm like, what is happening? What is
Yeah, the
happening
presence is
here?
missing, yeah.
Like, what's happening? And then I still didn't go to to ER. I went to urgent care. Like, okay, what's the less like? Hopefully, it's just nothing. And then, anyway, eventually went to ER. But in the moment of, I remember just like making mistakes, like what's happening in that moment of like
Yeah,
I'm pushing in one way because I feel like I need to do this, be
yeah,
responsible, take care of this,
totally.
etc.
Your body is telling you that there's something that needs to be addressed. Let's dive in. So, what have we found out is the connection here around if you pause, what your body is holding, that means about you. Like, what is that in a couple of words?
But I'm lazy, basically.
Right, right. There is that some part of you is holding that as truth. What would that say about you as a person? Waste, a waste.
A waste of
And
life, you know?
yeah, and I'm going to be purposefully harsh here because it might be connecting into a deep inner voice here. Because this isn't the truth, I'm naming the lie. What a waste! What a waste of life! What a waste of space! What a waste of purpose! So there's this idea of um, almost like waste, worthlessness, not being good enough. Why is that a lie? What evidence do we have that that's a lie? Is every person who pauses lazy? And it's laughable, right? Like, of course, every person who pauses isn't lazy. All right, well, let's try the opposite of that then. Is every person who continues to work his or her or their arse off responsible? Are they?
I mean, no, but like there's the other part of it's like,
Yeah, but the
yeah,
truth is that it's not the act of the doing that makes them
right.
responsible, it's where that's coming from. Let's meet that. Have you ever worked hard from the wrong place, like a place of irresponsibility, a place of confusion, a place of avoiding things that actually needed to be met elsewhere in life? I mean, I have,
Mhm.
right? Have you ever paused and returned with a greater sense of self, greater clarity, greater purpose, greater truth, greater honesty, greater impact? So let's just shatter this fucking thing once and for all, then, right? Does activity prove worth? Cool. Let's just go to the flip side. Can pause definitively prove laziness? It's funny, right? And like, I just love the fact that you're meeting this with joy and you're meeting this with ridiculousness because this exposes the crack, like it exposes the lie. And so from this moment on, you get to recognize this, you get to remember this conversation. This gets to be the turning point. Okay, so there's still more. Let's meet the generational piece around this because this is more than in your lifetime. Like this is generationally and culturally as well. So the family rule, the cultural rule, the generational rule is we are the people who work hard. We survive by working harder than everyone else. We earn our worth. It makes total sense now, right? We earn our worth and earn our keep by working harder and working hard. We are respectable and we become respectable and we did become respectable by never being lazy. We earn our place in society through effort. That's the generational stuff. And let's honor all of that. Like, let's honor the generations that came before us that made who we are today possible and where we get to go today possible because there is a lot of hard work and there's a lot of intelligence and there's a lot of pride and dignity. But is it as true now as it was then? No, right? The lie is this because the continuing to work harder, relentless effort helped us to survive. It can remains to be the honorable way for me to live, the responsible way for me to live, and for me to honor the generations that have gone by. That's what you've been carrying around. That's a heavy weight.
Mhm.
What's the truth? How could you really honor everything that has brought you here, everything that every generation previously has worked for?
to enjoy the
Yes.
pause or the rest or whatever. It's like,
Yeah. And
it's
go
like they
go
did
even
all
more.
this for,
Yeah, and what about how you live your life?
yeah.
How do you honor beyond the pause, like what the pause maybe even allows you to do in terms of living your life? How can you
Hmm.
genuinely honor everything that the previous generations worked so hard for in the way that you live your life today?
The first things that came to my mind was like do better, but it was or be better.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Hold that thought. And now, because that this is so amazing, Hollis, because do better and or be better, we're just now at that edge where that phrase holds multiple meanings. And it could go one way into the do better means work harder. But now we have a choice point of recognizing what is the pivot here. Because you're right, it is do better, but what does do better mean in the context of you today? How do you honor what they fought for and worked for?
Yeah. I mean, if I look at it from, and I'm not a parent, but seeing parents of like, I'm doing this so you don't have to.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
doing these things so you don't have
That's
to
the voice of the previous
struggle.
generation, right?
You don't have to
Yeah.
struggle the way that I have struggled. You don't have to,
Fuck yeah. So how do
Mhm.
you honor that? How do you honor a life that's not struggle then? How's
I
about
mean,
freedom?
well, yeah.
I mean, that's huge, right? Culturally. How's
Hmm.
about choice?
Yeah.
How's about peace? Anything else?
Less
Desire, following your desire, maybe? Because you can. Literally because you can.
if you can.
Yeah. So, do pause or action actually have any meaning attached inherently to those actions or those ideas? Is there any meaning attached to them at all, really? No, right? Like they're both neutral. Their meaning depends on what's driving them because we can pause from intent or we can pause from avoidance. We can act from integrity or we can act from disingenuity. We can act from honor, we can act from dishonor. We can pause from honor, we can pause from dishonor. So interesting. So what is the lie about pausing?
I mean, that it doesn't mean that, I'm lazy.
Yeah, do you feel that?
Hmm.
Yeah. What's the truth then? Let's find a new anchor to replace this idea. And we're not going to be like pausing is amazing, it's the best thing ever. But we're gonna create actually something that's even deeper because it's not even about pausing in the first place. It's about you. And
Yeah.
just note how if we are somatically attuned to be in relentless pursuit, it doesn't just mean that we are not going to pause. What else does it mean in terms of the attainment or otherwise of the things that we're going for? It means that you're wired to connect into those values and fulfill on the values of relentless pursuit, let's call it. And because of the word pursuit in a process-based way means that you're not going to necessarily allow yourself the pause or the rest that you need to, and therefore create this exhausting experience. What does relentless pursuit mean from an outcome point of view? If you are wired to be in continual relentless pursuit, what does it mean about your attainment or otherwise of the outcome you're looking for?
Um,
It's unlikely to happen, right?
I was, mhm.
The irony is I didn't give you enough of a pause there to come up with that. Thought you'd like that one. But I'm just mindful of time. But
Hmm.
yeah, like, does that feel true though?
Hmm.
And it makes sense, right? It just fucking makes sense. Why does money feel like it never arrives? Like I never get to that point that I want to be. This is it. Because you're wired to be in constant pursuit because that is how you fulfill on your value system. So now we get to what we're doing now is recognizing that being in constant pursuit is disconnected from your value system. In fact, you get to honor yourself and you get to honor generationally what's gone by being in choice, being in discernment, being in peace, being in happiness, being in enjoyment, being in freedom, and find like being in those things, looking for those things and finding those things and living those things, like living from those places as well as going towards those places. And if we break the idea that you have to be in constant pursuit, then what we find is a world in which you no longer have to be in constant pursuit, which sure as hell gives you so much more opportunity and chance to actually find the thing and meet the thing because you don't have to feel like you have to keep working hard for the thing because that's what makes you worthy as a human being. What's the truth that replaces the lie of if I pause, it's a waste and I'm a waste? What's the truth?
It's the opposite of that. It's
What
like
is it? Yeah, tell me. I agree.
um it's almost like, when I pause.
Well, let's meet the lie first, right? So
Uh,
let's banish the lie
oh,
first. So it
oh,
could
I
be
see.
something like, I'm not worthy because I work. I'm not good because I work, right? That's the lie of the doing. So how would you say that?
I'll borrow the first.
Yeah, I'm not worthy because I work. That's not what makes me worthy.
Right.
Right. So now let's go to the truth phase. Like, where does your worthiness as a human being on this planet, as a ancestor, where does your worth come from?
First word that comes to mind was existence.
Hell yeah. Why is your very existence genuinely proof of your worthiness and your worth? Is a newborn worthless?
No. I was gonna say because I was chosen to be.
Because you're here,
Hmm.
because you're a human being,
Hmm.
because you're chosen to be here,
Hmm.
because your soul chose to be here. Amazing. Amazing. So I'm not worthy because I work, I'm worthy because I exist.
I'm not lying. I think I
You
do have an
probably have written that
affirmation.
mantra at some point. Your
Hmm.
soul knew it before your mind did. How does that feel? I am not worthy because I work. I'm worthy because I exist. Feel true?
Hmm.
Cool.
I know it doesn't say that in my face, but yes.